pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you and welcome to our council meeting. Roll call, we are all here. No presentations to be made tonight, City Administrator. Any additions or changes to the agenda?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, any written public comments?
There are several emails that came regarding the park that I don't know were emailed directly to the council, but
Yeah, we can't hear you, so.
there were a few emails regarding OK Park that I know council has received, but in the context of the public comment email, there were none received.
Okay, the next thing on our agenda is public comments for people that are here. If there's anything you'd like to address as it's not on the agenda, this is the time for public comments. Yeah,
Okay.
give us your name, your address.
Okay. Thank you for letting me share. My name is Amy Oss, and I live on the Horseshoe at 134-630 Maplewood Drive, and across from Oakley Park. And I did send a letter to each of the board members, and I am not only just a resident here, but I'm also a teacher at, Horseshoe Middle School. And then, the other facet was a taxpayer. So looking at it from three different directions, from a mom, from a teacher, and from a taxpayer. The concern when we saw the board coming off of the rink, we thought, oh no, a lot has happened since we've moved in. And this is a very appealing place, a little bit like Mayberry, so to speak. And it's a wonderful place to live here in Baxter. And we have 4 kids, and it was appealing to us to live by the park. It's not just the lake, the park was a big deal. So some of the best memories I had put in here that my kids have made at OK Park, including at that rink with neighbor kids, kids from school. It's a big deal. It's a big part of our life, a big part of a lot of families' lives. And I hear so many things as a teacher, kids talking, parents talking, and as a mom. And I guess my concern is, we didn't say anything, the basketball courts left, and that's disappointing. The kids spent hours playing lightning, even though they weren't basketball players. Good, healthy fun, a place for the kids to go. And then the tennis courts, were removed. And that was disappointing. So kids would maybe go to Forest View, and the problem with going to Forest View with the tennis courts is it's in the woods, it's a distance away. I know my youngest child doesn't have a phone, I don't allow him to have a phone, so it feels a little bit dangerous that far over. It's not like it's at OK Park, which seems much safer. And then the hockey rink just felt like it was the last straw. Like, oh no, now they're taking this away from us too. So I guess I'm here with concern that last winter, the hockey rink, I get it, that we didn't know what happened. It was locked up and the lights weren't turned on, and everybody said, what happened? And word on the street, which I don't know if it's a complete truth, that there was not enough help to, for workers in the warming house. And we just didn't know about it as a group of neighbors. We've got that entire Horseshoe. I know there are 5 families with parents and kids that would help, even for free, just take turns and work that warming house to just keep it open for kids to come there. But what happened, it was closed down, and kids, the lights were not turned on. And I observed from across the street, one car after another pulling up and then just driving off. Or the kids would get out and sit on the freezing cold ground. I don't know if you've ever put skates on while you're sitting on ice. And there's kids who were persistent. They got out their flashlights. And my kids brought flashlights over there too, and they tried to skate. Parents were sitting in their cars with the headlights on, at the park, and I could see them over there. Their kids would skate, and less and less people started to show up. It just gave up because it was so difficult without the warming house, without lights on, and just disappointing. So I thought, well, you know what? We've had a lot go on with COVID the last couple of years, and it was just part of that. Next year's a new year. So when I think the disappointment to see that the boards were coming down, like more healthy activities being taken away from kids. I just feel like as a teacher, so many kids were disappointed to see this, that we're not gonna be able to skate at OK Park. And I understand that LT has a wonderful ice rink. And one of the things I tried to put in that letter was that what's hard maybe to understand, and maybe as a big city, we've got an ice rink, you can go over there, but as a parent, you know, we don't want our kids crossing the highway. And we're not comfortable maybe with the neighbors that are over in that area by LT, because we don't know them. We want to stay in an area where, you know, we know our neighbors and we know who's coming and going, and a lot of kids, their parents would drop their kids off and text or give me a call and say, "Will you keep an eye?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll keep an eye. I'll walk over and I'll check on them." And I know Katie lives on the street too, and there's several people that wanted to be here tonight. I've got 3 kids with games, and I'm missing them all to be here because I felt like it was important. But they're not here because their kids have games tonight. And I thought, if nobody shows up, you don't realize how many people are upset about this. At the middle school, I just talked to Jared Hendrickson. He lives on the Horseshoe too. He's the assistant principal at Forest View Middle School. He was very upset about it too. You know, he lives across the street, and it is a healthy thing for kids to get out and do. And families, and it's not just hockey players. You know, I'll advocate for kids who don't play hockey. There's some, and I mentioned in the letter, there are so many parents that would like to have their kids play, but it's expensive. You gotta commit to travel, and then you take away our neighborhood rink, and there's a lot of kids will never have the opportunity to play a game that's, you know, the sport of our state. I just think it's really important to keep that open. Above that, now if we take that open, I notice with the lights off, I walk my dog in the dark, and I go around to OK Park. You know, you kind of know everybody's dog, and we keep an eye, go around the square. I don't go through the middle anymore, because more and more often, and I ask a few other neighbors if they noticed this, there are more strange people walking through the middle of the park, and I can't see who it is. I just see a cigarette lit up, or cars are pulling up in the dark and sitting there, you know, lighting up in the car. And why do I even mention this? I have been watching this for a long time, and I feel like when there's not something healthy going on at the park and the lights are off, it is a safe place for unstructured activities that maybe we don't want here in Baxter at OK Park taking place. And so word gets out very quickly that the lights are not on and other things start taking place. When we first moved into this neighborhood, we used to watch cars, and this is maybe a little over the top, but I just want you to know, we watched this pattern of cars drive through the cemetery, and now they can't cut through there now with the gate. They drive through the cemetery, and we watch one go all the way around, and then another one would come and meet. And we were certain they were doing drug deals in the parking lot over here behind Baxter Elementary. And we had called Baxter Police several times, and they would come and check it out. And we let the word out. We kept a close eye on it. We had it down to every Monday night at 1 a.m. there was something being dropped off. And so what I see now with the lights off, what does this have to do with the rig? More of that type of activity, I'm afraid, is gonna take place if you don't have families dropping off their kids, picking up their kids with the lights on. You know, when there were moms there, it just seems like those kind of negative activities just don't take place as often. So, I don't know, did I miss anything, Katie?
No, well, I have some notes that I'll add.
Okay, thank you. I was a little rambling, but I appreciate it.
We did get all of your emails.
Okay.
I think I replied to.
I replied to all of them.
I'm Katie Fulkinson, and I live at 13607 Maplewood Drive, so just down the road from Amy. And I sent a letter as well, and I'm missing a hockey game as well, but we figured somebody had to come and say something. I mean, Amy touched on pretty much everything that I had to say too. A couple things though. There's so many things to do in the summer, I feel like, and especially at the park. You know, there's a playground, you can go and play base. I mean, there's just a lot more things to do. I think of the winter, and there's not a ton of things to do at the park in the winter. Even just outside in Minnesota, there's snowmobiling, you know, but inexpensive things, like skating is one of the most inexpensive things. You don't have to have all the hockey gear, you can just go and skate. And like Amy said, Lauren Thompson is fine, but the last couple times we were there, you have a group of hockey players playing, which, I mean, they're skilled and they're, you know, they're skating fast, and then you have the rest of them that are skating on the side rink. I feel like it's gonna become a safety issue where you have kids that are very skilled and you know, like, taking over or running over some of the kids that maybe aren't as skilled. And then, oh, the lights issue. If the lights are not on, so our kids get out of school at 3-ish, well, the high school gets out after 3. So, and it gets dark at like 4:30, 4:45. I mean, really, by the time I get my kids home, they have activities after school, but even if I were to bring them directly home and they went over to skate, I mean, at most, they'd be able to skate for like an hour. Which was the same as last year, which is why it maybe didn't look like kids skated that much, but there were people that tried that had lights on or headlamps or, you know, it just, and then without having the warming hose too, I mean, it's something that's really hard to skate that long, you know, with it being cold. They were using the porta potty to stay warm at a lot of times. So, but I agree with, I mean, Amy hit a lot of the things that I would have said, and we just felt it was important to come and let you guys know, so.
You know, something I didn't say is, I think that between Katie and I, there's 5 families in the Horseshoe. Among all of our homes, if it was an issue about staffing, I think we could put together a schedule and cover that. Even if you limited the warming house on certain days, we could find volunteers, and we would be willing to do that to help.
For sure. We had talked about it last year, we just never, we just thought it was a COVID thing, and oh, things will go back to normal next year, and we didn't say anything, which, I mean, hindsight now, we're upset that we didn't say anything, but.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. You got a drink? Council comments? I think John wants to talk about this during council comments.
Okay.
Public comments are just that, we take
Yeah.
comments from the public, we try not to, because nobody's really necessarily prepared to have the in-depth conversation, but John wants to talk about a little bit later, which he can do. So, anybody else, anything about public comments you'd like to address here? We'll be there shortly. Okay, seeing none, we'll move to the consent agenda. The following items are considered non-controversial by staff and are recommended to be read and passed in one motion. Any council person, staff, citizen, or meeting attendee can request one or more items to be pulled from the consent agenda, and the item will be pulled and addressed immediately after the passage of the consent agenda. Otherwise, the following items will be passed in one motion. Number 1, approve the city council work session minutes from November 15th, 2022. Number 2, approve the city council minutes from November 15th, 2022. Number 3, approve the city council special minutes from November 15th, 2022. Number 4, approve the payment of bills and finance report. Number 5, accept the KO storage municipal improvements as outlined in the development agreement. Number 6, adopt resolution 2022-104, accepting the resignation and declaring a vacancy.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to pull that one, please.
Okay. Number 7, approve the EMS Partners LLC Hannibal contract for streetlight poles for the 2023 Cypress Drive and Douglas Fir Drive Improvements Project. Number 8, approve appointment to the seasonal position of park attendant, public works maintenance, and warming house attendant. Number 9, approve Bill Ludini Appraisals, Inc., and contract number 2 for 2023 Cypress Drive and Douglas Fir Drive Improvements Project. Number 10, adopt resolution 2022-105, approving and authorizing the execution of a development agreement with Lakes Area Habitat for Humanity.
Number 10, please. Number 10, please.
Number 11, adopt resolution 2022-106, setting the 2023 fee schedule. Number 12, adopt resolution 2022-107, approving the 2023 property tax levy of $8,304,500. Number 15, adopt resolution rather, approving the 2023 budget of $22,322,000. Number 14, approve the Mississippi River Overlook Master Plan and Community Use Policy.
Mr. Mayor, Ms. Boland.
Pull number 14. Number 15, authorize execution of contract with BS&A Software for integrated local government software and implementation services. A motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Cross, second by Ward, all in favor?
Aye.
First items, Brad.
First item that was pulled was item 6, which is adopting resolution 2022-104, accepting the resignation and declaring vacancy.
Mr. Ward.
I just pulled this, Mr. Mayor, so that when we come to a vote, I could abstain.
Okay. Gotcha. Motion to accept number 6 then.
So moved.
Second. Jack, second by Leslie, all in favor?
Aye.
Any abstains? Next one, Brad.
Number 10, adopt resolution 2022-105, approving and authorizing the execution of development agreement with
Okay.
Habitat for Humanity.
And I pulled that to abstain as well. I'm on the Crow County HRA board, and they have a little slice of approval, and I abstained on that side, so I will abstain on this side.
Okay. Good idea to approve. Motion by Cross.
Second.
Second by Leslie to approve that. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All same sign, motion carries. Next one.
Item 14, approve the Mississippi River Overlook Master Plan and Community Use Policy.
I told that to get a more definite answer on how we're going to proceed. Whether it be discussion tonight or table till another workshop or whatever.
Based on earlier conversation, what would you like to do there,
Aye.
Mr. Community Developer?
Well, I think it's really up to the council, but in terms of staff direction, we will ultimately need to have a path moving forward on timeframe of the outtake. If there's concerns with what's on in the master plan, and specifically option A, I did look it up. It's 20 acres, and our consultants sized those conceptual recreational improvements to fit in 20 acres. So I didn't have that acreage off the top of my head, so I just wanted to follow up with that. But yes, you can approve the plan and still have conversations on timing of an outtake. But if there's other levels of a lack of comfort, you can table it as well. I guess it's really up to the council if you're comfortable with the product and what's in it in terms of option A to get it approved. Our interests in getting it approved are simply put just to have the plan and the policy out available to the public, so and to complete the project. That's all. So no immediate
Excuse me, go ahead.
timeline, deadline, or anything that I'm aware of that puts the strain on tonight for any reason.
A couple of concerns that came up earlier was whether we could request a 20-year lease versus and what did you find out there?
Yep, they do leases, and they have numerous WMA leases across the state. So they can't speak to the specific negotiation on this particular site between the DNR and the city, but they didn't see any reason why that isn't possible.
Any other discussion or input there, council?
Hearing that, I think everyone knows that I leaned towards 20 acres was more than I expected, and I know you're probably on the other end of that, is why you pulled this. But having the 20 pulled out and having the potential for a 20-year lease, I don't see how we can feasibly get to needing more than 20 in the next 20 unless something drastically changes. So, in my opinion, if we can go down the path of trying that lease thing and being open to keeping ourselves in control of it, I would say approve it as is, but that's just my opinion. approve it as is, yes.
Motion by
Second.
Talbot, second by Liscio. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Is that the last one, Brad?
That is the last one.
Okay. No other business, so we move on to council comments. Council member Liscio.
Just a couple. It's no secret, we've had 2 rough meetings in the last week or so. I appreciate the attendance. There were quite a few people here from Baxter, and I appreciate their input. It's heard. And then on a totally different note, much more enjoyable in my opinion, we've had a lot of interest already in the holiday lighting contest. So I want to encourage people to take part. In fact, there's a entrant who is seeking help with an electrician. So I'm excited to see what she comes up with this year.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Talbot.
No comment tonight.
Okay, Mr. Ward.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm gonna make several comments tonight, but I want to start with OK Park. And thank you for showing up and voicing your opinion. That's really important for every citizen to do that, no matter if they are part of the issue or not, or whatever. So thank you for showing up and showing, you know, your participation in that. I've gotten your emails, I've gotten calls, and as I know that the mayor and council members and staff has. And, you know, I've also talked to Alex Honnold, the Parks and Rec supervisor, and then Brad and I had a good conversation today. And, you know, council member Liscio talked about a minute ago about we've had some difficult meetings the last couple days. And a lot of it evolves around dollars and costs and taxes and things as such. That's probably been a multi-decade conversation, maybe centuries conversation at local government agencies. But, you know, the bottom line is what this council and other councils or other organizations do is we hope to do it in the best interest of, you know, the city and the citizens, period, you know, being fiscally responsible and also public safety. So one of the things, the OK initial assessment, needs assessment, I think was developed in 2007, I think was the initial assessment, and then I think was upgraded in 2015. It's something like that, something in there. And you know, a lot of what has gone on at OK Park is in those initial assessments or strategic plans or whatever. The things that hit me when we were talking about OK Park is, number one, the kids. I remember who it was, but somebody mentioned, so when the kids get home, they've got half an hour, 45 minutes, you know, to skate with the lights off. And so when we provide opportunities, if there's a facility there and we can provide our children with opportunities for healthy situations, and I just think that's part of I don't want to say a responsibility, but part of you know, a well-rounded city with all of its citizens. The other thing that comes to my mind in this discussion is public safety. And I thought about that as we now have what used to be a lighted area into a darkened area, and some of the possibilities of, you know, what could happen there. So Alex has, by the way, Alex has a very good vision of the whole park, parks in Baxter, and futuristic kind of ideas. And I would encourage, if you haven't talked to Alex about that, to talk to him about it, not just OK Park, but all of our parks. But he has, Alex has, I think, a pretty good alternative to provide perhaps some lighting and more safe issues. And I talked to Brad about it as well. So I just want the council to be aware of that, the staff and the citizens to be aware of. This is being discussed and it's being looked at. And we had a meeting, the last 2 meetings, as I said, have been mostly about my taxes are going up and you're spending too much money. I mean, that's the bottom line. And so, you know, whether it be roads or hockey rinks or baseball fields or whatever it is. So how can we do that fiscally responsibly while providing our citizens, and these citizens are usually kids, and opportunities? So I would encourage the council and the staff and the mayor excuse me, to continue discussions on OK Park and what we can do there to provide. So that's my comment there. This is my last meeting, and I didn't think this was going to happen. So I just want to say this. Thank you to the citizens for providing me an opportunity. Another opportunity became available, so I decided to try that opportunity, and I've thrown a wrench in a lot of your plans. I know that a lot of city council plans.
It'll take a while to forgive you.
But, and I want to say something about that, you know, I was out a lot last year, and you guys carried the load. You guys carried the load. The staff, the council, the mayor, you guys carried the load, and covered for me, and I really appreciate that. And I want the citizens to know this. You know, I've been on previous councils, and I've been on at different levels, but honestly, this staff and this mayor and these councilors are true public servants. They do it for the right reason. Whether you're the chief of police or community development or administrator or whatever, they serve for the right reasons. That is, that they truly are public servants. These folks are public servants. And people don't really get how much time, blood, sweat, and tears go into this whole process of running a city, of working for a city, of trying to improve a city. And I can tell you from personal observation that these folks work long and hard. They love Baxter. They'll do anything for Baxter that they can, and when they have to make tough decisions, they lose sleep at night. They all lose sleep at night. And that tells me that the love that they have is deep concern. It's not, they don't have personal agendas like maybe some people have when they go to serve. They are true public servants. And for that, I thank all of you, staff, elected officials, and you know, I still live in Baxter, so I'll be around. But it's been my pleasure and honor to serve alongside you and to serve, you know, with you for the citizens of Baxter, and thank you. So that's it.
Wow, that was pretty awesome. Thank you. Mark?
Hey,
Well, I'll come back to you in a minute. But I just wanted to thank Connie for the Baxter Lights thing. There's some generic housekeeping I need to do here. The Baxter Lights thing, so she is running this third year. And along with Renee of the Dispatch, nice big articles, and really appreciate the support that everybody's giving her to it. It's an exciting thing for the city. I just wanted to say, John mentioned Alex's name, and you know, I think it's great, and I feel good about. Some people think we're a big city. We aren't. You know, somebody said Mayberry. That's my phrase. I use that a lot. Yeah, we still really are. And so I think it's great that the residents know our employees and they know their names and they know Alex. But I would just encourage people that if there's a problem, Alex and the rest of the employees are simply carrying out policies made by this group. So you did the right thing. You came to the policy people, and he's gotten some interesting phone calls, memos, that type of a thing that really, you know, probably shouldn't have gone there. Should have come to us in the first place. So I just encourage all people to take that into consideration and come beat up the people that make up the stupid rules, you know, whatever. And if you would honor that. I just want to say to John, I feel really bad that out of your 2 years, you weren't really able to participate the way I know you would like to, and I know the way you do in the past. And when you could, you did, and you came in here when I know you weren't feeling good, but you're a soldier too. And you and I go back a long ways when you were serving for with the legislature, representing Baxter back then at a different level. And I'm thinking about, in fact, you brought it up, I think, the other night too, when we got into our there were many of them, but one of our biggest issues was the extension of the sales tax, which are, at that time, 7,000 people. We needed that. We needed that sales tax. We needed the outsiders to be helping to pay for water towers, $3 million, and so on and so forth. And I know you fought really hard. There was a lot of late night phone calls back and forth from St. Paul to get that through. And you represented Baxter well back then. And that was only one issue. There were many, many issues to it. You represented us well from 150 miles away, but then also now when you moved back here and were able to represent us. So I appreciate everything you did. I wish you could have been healthier and you could have enjoyed more of it. We're glad for every day's strength that you do get. And I think, personally, you're in a position now to help more people on more of a global scale, if you will. And so we congratulate you on your victory there, and looking forward to good things coming from that too. State Administrator.
No, nothing to report other than we need to go into closed session under Minnesota statute 13D.03 for labor negotiations.
I would just like to, Bradley also talked about this park thing here this afternoon. It's kind of been the buzzword. We're trying to figure out what the best route to go is, and we'll get back to you people. But, there's been a master plan for 20 years, and we have drawings, and park commissions have come and gone, and we're a part of all of that. And so I think that I don't know what the venue should be, whether it's through the Parks Commission or whatever, to get that word out and bring people in, show you those schematics, the drawings, and what's been talked about and planned, and what might be the future. And some of the same hockey people, beat the daylights out of us because they're baseball people and said, when are you going to put that fourth field in there? It's been non-stop conversation. Well,
We come from both sides.
that fourth field goes right where you are. And so
We're happy to share because we have both sides.
it's the cake and eat it too, so some of those exact same people were on both sides of that. So, but I think it'd be a good idea to share all that with you, the background or whatever, and get further input. And so the administrator will figure out how to pull that together. We got all your emails, your addresses, so
Yeah.
appreciate you coming. Okay, if there's nothing else, then we will look for a motion to adjourn to go into closed session.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Lucille, second by Barry. All in favor?
Aye.
Dave?
Nice to meet you.
Know your husband.
Yeah.
Amy, I got Katie, I got your number. Amy, I do have your number.
Get over there.
There's got 4 people on already.
It's fine.